Become AutoCAD expert step by step. Hello friends, how are you doing? I am your guide Amit Garg and you're watching my channel CAD by Amit. Friends, in the previous two lectures we have covered 10 modify commands. Now this is the third and the last lecture where we will cover the remaining 6 commands of the modify tab, and after that we can start working on the drawings because we have already covered the draw tab commands. Now after this lecture we'll be through with the modify tab commands as well. The commands are trim, extend, break, join, fillet and chamfer. Another important thing is, friends, at the end of this lecture you'll find one playlist and you can click on that playlist to see all the lectures from the beginning. In case you want to, then please click on that playlist to run all the lectures from the very beginning. So let's get started. Command number 11, trim, shortcut TR. Trim command is used to trim or cut an object with respect to one or more cutting edges or objects. Just to understand the trim command, let's go through this diagram. We have few lines here. These are the parallel lines, but lines can be non-parallel as well. Now these lines I want to trim taking the reference of this red colored line, and this line we call as a cutting edge. I'll go for a trim command. I'll select this red colored line as the cutting edge, and as we select all of these lines using a crossing window or maybe a crossing polygon, or we can use another option which is a fence option, or we can even click on the lines, all the lines will be trimmed. Another option is we have a similar kind of lines here and we have one cutting edge here. I again select this line as the cutting edge. Now here I am using the fence selection method for selecting the lines. The reason is I want to trim some of the lines and I do not want to trim some of the lines in between. So what I'll do is I'll click here, make this fence. I'll take out this fence line because I do not want to trim these lines in between, and then I again move it inside, and then I again cross some of the lines which I again want to trim. So let's go to the model space and check these examples. I'll take the trim command from the modify tab. I can take it from here. Otherwise I can take it from the modify panel. The trim command is here, or else I can type down its shortcut TR. As I press TR and press enter, software is asking for the cutting edge. Here friends, in case you want to select the cutting edge, you can. Otherwise you can simply press enter to select all the objects in the drawing as cutting edges. But in this case, I am just selecting this red colored line as the cutting edge. Then I press enter and then I make one crossing window to trim all the lines in one go. Now let us try out the fence option in trim command. We go for trim command this time by typing down TR, which is a shortcut, enter. I select the cutting edge as this one, enter. Now see here we have a fence option. So for taking up the fence option, I need to type down F, enter, and then I make a fence line. I want to trim these 3 lines first. Then I move it outside. Then I again take it inside and I cross so that the upper 3 lines are also touched by this fence. And as we press enter, see some of the lines are trimmed and some of the lines which were not touched by the fence line are not trimmed. Now we have another very important option in trim command. Let's go through that. I want to trim this white line, and for the cutting edges I have drawn 2 lines. One is a red line, but this red line is not touching the white line that I want to trim. And we have another line which is a green line, and this green line is actually touching the white line that I want to trim. So let's go for a trim command. I type down TR, enter. And this time I press enter to select all the objects as the cutting edges. So I just press enter. Now friends, here we have one very important option here. Please understand it clearly. This is the edge option. So for taking up the edge option, I can type down E, enter, and we have 2 options here. Either we can set edge option to extend or to no extend. I set it to extend, suppose by typing down E and then press enter. And when I click on this line, so even this red colored line is taken as the cutting edge because the edge option was set to extend. So even a non-touching object will be considered as the cutting edge. Now we check this again. We go to the trim command and I select all the objects as the cutting edge. We go for edge option by typing down E, and this time I set it to extend. I set it to no extend. And when I click on this, so see what has happened. Now this time this white colored line is trimmed to this green colored line. Why? Because my edge option was set to no extend. So this red colored line is not considered as the cutting edge this particular time. So this is the two options, two settings of edge option. Now let's go for another good example for the trim command. We have a red colored line and then we have few lines here which are actually touching or crossing the red colored line AB. We go for a trim command TR, enter, and in this case I want to select all the lines, all the objects as the cutting edges, so I can just press enter. As I click on the line or I select it using the crossing window, see, we could trim the line in such a way that alternate segments are trimmed or erased. But supposingly I want to trim this red colored line between both the green colored lines. In this case, we'll go to the trim command, and it's always better to select cutting edges this time. We will not press enter for selecting the cutting edges, rather we'll actually select the cutting edge objects. I'll press enter, and as I click on this line, a line is trimmed in one shot, one go. Command number 12, extend, shortcut EX. Extend command is used to extend an object to a given boundary object. Here we are supposed to give one boundary object, and the objects that I want to extend will be extended to this given boundary objects. Let's have a look on this diagram. Here we have few lines here, and these lines I want to extend to this circle object. So this circle object should be selected as a boundary edge, and as we select these lines by clicking on the lines, by using the fence option, or just by making a crossing window, the lines will get extended to the circle object. So let's go to the model space and try out this option. So we go to the extend command by clicking on the modify panel. We can take the extend command from here. Otherwise we can take it from the ribbon toolbar by clicking on this one, and we have extend command here, or else I can type down EX, which is a shortcut for extend command. Now here again the same situation as we did it in the trim command. In case I press enter here, then all the objects in the drawing will be taken as the boundary edges. Or else I can click on a specific object, only that object will be taken as a boundary edge. So this time I click on a circle, and the circle is taken as a boundary edge, and I simply make a crossing window, and all the lines will be extended to the circle. Now for making this command successful, an object should have a boundary object. In case we do not have a single boundary object in front of the object that we want to extend, the object will not get extended. Command number 13, break, shortcut BR. Break command is used to break an object, open or closed at one or 2 points. Now here we have a line. It's an open object, and I want to break this line at 2 points A and B. I'll select point A as the first point. I'll select point B as the second point, and this part AB will be broken, or this will be removed from the line. Now have another example here. We have a circle, and this time I want to break this circle at these 2 points A and B, where A and B points are the 2 quadrants of the circle. In that case, the lower portion of the circle will be removed, because the break command will consider the points in the anti-clockwise direction always. So let's go through these examples, this particular command in the model space. Now we have drawn one line here, and I go for a break command. This time I just type down BR, which is a shortcut for break command, and I click on the line at a particular point, and that point will be taken as the first break point by the software, and that will be the default thing. So as I click on the line to select, the same point is taken as the first point. In case I want to take some other point as the first point, I need to type down F here to take some other point as the first point. But right now I want to take this point only as the first point, so I just need to take the second point. As I click here for the second point, the line is broken between these 2 points, and this particular segment is deleted. We again go for the break command, BR, enter. I again click on the line, but this time this is not my first point. I want to give some other point as the first point, so I'll type down F here. I give some other point as the first point, and thereafter I give some other point as the second point. Then line is broken between these 2 points. Sometimes we want to break the line at a particular point only, means at a single point. In that case, we go for a break command. I click on the line, and this is my first point, suppose, and I want to take the same point as the second point. You can simply type down @ and just press enter. The first point itself is taken as the second point, and see, the line is broken at that particular point. Now we have 2 lines which are in the continuation, and a single line is broken into 2 lines. I want to change the direction of this line. I can catch this line using the grip, and I can simply change its direction because these are 2 different lines now. Now let us take the example of a circle where I want to break this lower half portion of the circle using the break command. I'll go to the break command, enter. I click on the circle to select this object, but this is not my first point, so I still want to give a first point. I'll type down F here, enter. Now I want to select this circle at the quadrant point precisely, so I have to keep quadrant option in object snap as on, and just check that object snap command itself should also be on. As I select this quadrant point and then I select this quadrant point, the lower part of the circle or lower half of the circle is broken. Now this time I want to break the upper half circle, so I'll go for a break command. I'll select the circle, and this time I catch right quadrant point first. I'll just undo that because this has taken the selection point itself as the first point. So I'll go for a break command again. Select the circle. This is not my first point. I'll type down F. I'll take this point first. I'll take this point second, and see this upper half circle is broken or deleted. Command number 14, join command. The shortcut is J. Join command is used to join 2 or more than 2 collinear lines or non-collinear lines to a polyline. In case both the lines are collinear, we can have even more than 2 lines, but the lines should be collinear. Collinear means all the lines should be in the same alignment. And in case lines are not collinear or non-collinear, then we have to convert one line or the source line into a polyline first, and then only we can join them together. So let's move to the model space and check an example. So for the join command, we can type down its shortcut J. Otherwise, we can take it from the modify panel from here, or we can take it from the modify panel from the ribbon toolbar. So I go for a join command by typing down J. I select the source object first, and then the line that I want to join with the source object second, and we press enter. Both the lines are joined. We can join even more than 2 line segments, provided all the line segments are collinear. Now let us try out this join command on 2 arcs. the command is same, and here the condition is both the arcs should be concentric and should have the same radius. So we go for a join command. We select this arc and then we select the next arc that we want to join with this one. As I press enter, both the arcs are joined. Command number 15, fillet command. The shortcut is F. Fillet command is used to fillet two objects by a given radius. In the example, I have drawn one rectangle here and I want to fillet one corner of this rectangle by a radius 10 millimeters. So as we go for a fillet command, the software will ask for the radius first. We'll set the radius to whatever value we want. Like in this case, we'll set it to 10 millimeters. As I click on both the lines of the rectangle, this corner will be converted into one circular arc. So let's try out in the model space. As usual, we can take this command from the modify tab from here. Otherwise, we can catch it from the modify panel from here. I take the fillet command from here and I set the radius to say 10 millimeters. As I click on this line and on this line, see this corner is converted into one circular arc. Now here this corner is removed actually, and then this is converted into one arc. Suppose I want to put an arc here without removing the corner. So for that we have an option in the fillet command, and that option is a trim option. So for this trim option, I'll type down T, enter. I'll set its value to no trim. By typing down N, I'll press enter. Now I click on this line and I click on this line. Now see, circular arc is added, but this time corner is not removed. Another option in the fillet command is, supposingly I want to fillet all the four corners at the same time with the same radius. The radius is already set to 10 millimeters. I'll take the polyline option because rectangle is also a polyline. So we'll go for a polyline option by typing down P, enter. As I click on the rectangle, all the four corners will be converted into circular arcs. Now here in the diagram, I have one rectangle and I have drawn another polyline with multiple line segments. And I want to fillet multiple objects at multiple corners this time. So what I want is, once I enter into the fillet command, I should complete my fillet thing for all the objects at multiple locations, and then only I should come out of the command. So for that, we have another good option in the fillet command. So let's go for a fillet command by typing down F, enter, and we have a multiple option here. Now this multiple option is very important because once we enter into the multiple option by typing down M, then we can fillet multiple objects at the multiple locations, and we will not come out of the command unless we finish it by pressing escape later on. So I set the radius to 10. Radius is already set to 10. I accept it. I click on this corner here and here. Now see, this is already converted into a circular arc. Now supposingly I want to change the radius for the next corner, I can do that as well. I change the radius to 20 and I click on this one, this line and this line. This is also converted into a circular arc. And similarly, suppose I want to fillet this corner as well and then this corner as well. So the point is I can fillet multiple objects at multiple locations. And finally, once we are through, we can press escape to come out of the command. Now here we have example of two circles now. Now we have two circles and we go for a fillet command. I go for a radius and I set the radius to suppose 50, enter. As I click on this circle and I click on this circle, even these two circles are joined by a circular arc having a radius of 50. Command number 16, chamfer, shortcut CHA. Chamfer command is used to chamfer two lines at the intersection point. We have two methods here. A, distance plus distance method. B, length plus angle method. Here in this example, in this drawing, we are working with the distance plus distance option. So software will ask for two distances. Supposingly I set the first distance to 20 millimeters and the second distance also to 20 millimeters. When I click on this line, I click on this line, both the lines are joined because this will chamfer it at the distance of 20 millimeters in both the directions. The option number 2 is, here we are supposed to give one length and one angle. As I click on this line first, the horizontal line first, and supposingly I had given 15 millimeter as the length, so this will take this distance as 15 millimeters and will chamfer it at an angle of 30 degrees in case the angle given was 30 degrees. So this is how we chamfer the object using these two methods. So let's go to the model space and try out these two examples. So here I type down CHA for the chamfer command. We can take it from the modify tab. We can take it from the modify panel. I type down here CHA on the command line, press enter. I am setting the distance method first. So I'll go for a D option. This will ask for two distances. The first chamfer distance is coming out as 20. I accept this value. In case you want some different value, you can change it by typing it down. The second chamfer distance is also set to 20. I say OK. When I click on this line and on this line, see this corner is chamfered by taking up 20 millimeters as the distance on both the sides. On line 1, 20 millimeters, on line 2, 20 millimeters. So this was method number 1. The second method is known as the angle method. So I go for angle method by typing down A. Here I am supposed to set one length first of all. The length is set to 15 millimeters. I press enter, and one angle is set to 30 degrees. I say OK. When I click on this line, the distance from the corner will be taken as 15 millimeters and we get a chamfer line which is going at 30 degrees to this line, and this will chamfer the corner. Now supposingly I want to chamfer this corner again, taking the distance method. I'll go to the chamfer command again and go to the method option now by typing down E, because E option or E letter is given there in capital. Right now my chamfer command is set for angle method, but I want to chamfer using the distance method. So I'll type down D here, enter, and I click here and I click here. See, chamfer command has worked with distance option this time. Once again, this corner I want to use the next method, that is the angle method again. I'll go for a method option by typing down E, and I change my chamfer method to angle now by typing down A. When I click on this line, this will go 15 millimeters back and the corner will be chamfered at 30 degrees from this horizontal side of the rectangle. So this is how chamfer command has two methods, and the remaining options in the chamfer command are absolutely similar to the fillet command options. Friends, I hope you like this lecture and you have all the commands very clear. Now in case you like this lecture, please do press like button, share it to your friends. Do not forget to subscribe my channel in case you have not subscribed it as yet. And please press bell icon as well so that you keep getting notifications on the new lectures. So thank you so much. Take care.